Setiap kami, baik kami pembina maupun mahasiswa, kami punya buku laporan keuangan.
I think there are two sides to it. The first thing that we have to do is to make sure our people know the Bibles and know the principles of the Bible and the foundation of Christian living.
Yes.
Then there's the other side, which is the context in which you are living.
Pastor Pak ya, Pastor Roland, which is that also he's the leader Pak ya of the Yayasan Pelayanan Perkabaran Injil Indonesia Batu Pak ya, YPPI Indonesia Batu. It's very interesting because Indonesia and then Batu. Batu is Malang Pak ya.
Different. Before Batu is part of Malang, but now Batu is There's a different. They have their own government now.
Oh, okay. And under this YPPII, there's two program which is very interesting. One, equipping young generations, and which is very key, very relevant. And the second one is about education, theology, and general. Jadi Pak, so we talk Indonesian English now. Pastor Ronald bisa bagikan sedikit tidak bagaimana tadi yang disampaikan Reverend Hwayung di dalam konteks YPPII?
Ya. Baik, terima kasih Pak Handoko. Ya, tadi pelayanan kami dimulai adalah sekolah teologi.
Okay.
Small Bible School.
Small Bible School. Tahun berapa tuh Pak?
Tahun 59.
Wow. 1959.
Yes. Yeah.
Older than myself.
Di dalam membina, menyiapkan para mahasiswa ini ada 3 prinsip. First is spiritual formation. Yang kedua, practical living. Third, knowledge, pengetahuan. Usually seminary start with knowledge and spiritual formation in the last priority. Jadi di kami setiap orang yang mau masuk punya persyaratan. Spiritual formation, persyaratan pertama, mereka harus lahir baru.
Oke.
Born again Christian.
Jadi mengalami dahulu Pak ya. Mengalami transformasi dahulu dari Kristus ya.
Iya. Kemudian mereka masuk, kami membentuk mereka di asrama mulai jam 4.45 pagi sampai jam 11 malam mereka tidur. Diatur setiap waktunya.
Jadi kalau nyambung tadi Pak ya, ini sudah community of practice Pak ya?
Iya, sangat praktis ya. Ini sangat praktis. Jadi dari pengalaman metodis, kami juga belajar banyak karena pengajar kami ada dari metodis, ada dari bermacam-macam.
Okay.
Ya, jadi kami mengadopsi semua nilai-nilai yang terbaik dari mereka untuk kami. Maka bangun pagi, mereka harus baca Alkitab dan berdoa. Harus. Itu harus. Kedua, setelah itu mereka harus membersihkan kamar, membersihkan lingkungan semua asrama sampai bersih. Baru mereka selesai makan, baru mereka persekutuan doa bersama-sama. Chapel. Baru mereka masuk ke kelas, baru belajar.
Getting the knowledge Pak.
Iya, baru knowledge. Nah, yang diuji pertama adalah apakah mereka bangun pagi baca Alkitab sungguh-sungguh. Ini it's a very crucial thing. Banyak orang bangun pagi lihat Alkitab seolah-olah membaca, tetapi mungkin mengantuk, just pray. Tetapi kami harus mencatat apa yang kamu pelajari pagi hari ini for your life. Ya, itu yang kami latih. Yang kedua, spiritual life, di sini kita juga melatih keuangan.
Oke, jadi bukan hanya disiplin rohani, tapi disiplin keuangan.
Pertama, kedua, disiplin keuangan. Setiap kami, baik kami pembina maupun mahasiswa, kami punya buku laporan keuangan. Jadi tiap minggu atau tiap bulan kita akan diperiksa.
Wow, diperiksa oleh siapa Pak?
atasannya, mentornya.
Mentor.
Jadi kalau tahun ini, bulan ini saya punya uang saku 200.000 rupiah, hari ini beli apa? Berapa banyak persembahan? Berapa banyak? Apa yang dipakai?
Kalau begini Pak ya, pasti nggak kena pinjol dia Pak.
Itu belum ada pinjol.
Because now is a lot of problems with the online loan.
Yeah.
So is there really from the beginning in the basic years of the theological school, they are not tempted or become the victims of the pinjol. Lanjut.
Jadi mereka harus dan harus kalau ada apa kwitansinya harus ditempel.
Wow,
Harus
sampai ada buktinya.
bukti.
Oke.
Kalau mereka uangnya habis banyak untuk dijajan, mereka dapat tegur. Kalau banyak di buku agak bagus. Kalau banyak di baju atau sepatu dapat teguran.
Oh, jadi belajar memprioritaskan pengeluaran.
Betul. Iya. Kemudian berapa banyak untuk persembahan, berapa banyak mereka membantu sesama.
Ini berapa tahun nih Pak?
5 tahun.
5 years.
Yes.
Building that discipline, spiritual discipline,
Yes.
financial discipline,
Juga moral.
moral.
Di situ kami dibentuk satu kamar 4 orang. Indonesia multicultural. Jadi satu kamar tidak boleh semua orang Batak, tidak boleh semua orang Jawa, harus dicampur.
Jadi intensional Pak ya?
Iya, internasional. Mereka harus berbahasa Indonesia, harus saling menghormati. Kami ada sistem kakak tingkat, adik tingkat, ada namanya unit. Setiap 10 orang atau 12 orang ada bapak unit yang membina mereka.
Nah ini sistem accountability dibangun di sini ya?
Iya.
Oke.
Iya. Tiap minggu, tiap bulan. Jadi kami akan tahu siapa yang punya uang banyak, siapa yang tidak punya uang. Dan saling sharing,
Oke.
saling menolong. Itu
Wow. Terima kasih sekali Pak.
Iya.
Saya tidak pernah tinggal di asrama Pak. I never stay in the dorm before.
some of the students they are very poor. Some of them they have a lot. Sometimes they have to share together.
Ya,
We teach them how to share,
ya.
to help each other.
Belajar berbagi ya.
Ya harus.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pastor Ronald, for that. It's giving an insightful about this, how it works, building the foundational about the spiritual formation and also financial and moral formation, starting from the beginning at the theological school. And I think it's very relevant what is being said by Reverend Hua Yung, which is that they're coming from multi-ethnics. They are coming from different background, but they have to be together in a melting pot. So, pertanyaannya Pak, how it works after they graduated and then they move to the society and they become leaders of their own in the church, local church, maybe in the denomination or in the foundation. Bagaimana Bapak mencermati kehidupan kepemimpinan mereka sesudahnya, Pak?
Sebagian besar mereka terus membawa itu ke gereja, ke rumah tangga, karena kebanyakan mereka menikah, suami istri bertemu sehingga mereka sudah biasa bertemu di situ dan mereka akhirnya membentuk, karena biasanya setelah menikah banyak problem kalau tidak bersama-sama, tapi setelah itu mereka bisa membangun dan memberikan contoh di berbagai tempat.
Jadi mereka sudah dibentuk bersama-sama sehingga satu lifestyle atau budaya Kristen yang sama, waktu mereka pelayanan, misi atau apa itu sudah menjadi terbentuk ya. Okay, before we close, I would like to hear from you, Reverend Hua Yung, and also Pastor Ronald. This is the challenge, the today challenge. We are in the environment which is sometimes there is a corrupt environment, which is that or less integrity, and then starting from early childhood, or maybe not early childhood, but starting from schooling, and then they are going into the in the workplace or spheres, which is that they have to face challenges corruption, integrity issues. I remember one time my son came back and then said, Papa, what should I do? So for me, that is the challenge. You have to face day by day, and you have to make decision day by day in that system, in the environment. I don't say everything is corrupt system, but there's certain places or certain appointment or certain engagement. You have to make choices to that. So Reverend Hua Yung, what is your taking and what is your advice as a closing statement on this?
On how to face the corruption in the system.
Because there is the reality in life, day-to-day reality.
I think there are two sides to it. The first thing that we have to do is to make sure our people know the Bibles and know the principles of the Bible
The foundation.
and the foundation of Christian living.
Yes.
Then there's the other side, which is the context in which you are living in. And the context is always more difficult because I give a simple example. If the pastor is preaching, right, and he says that we must be honest, we must not pay any money for corruption, even the people, then suppose I'm a taxi driver. I'm a taxi driver. You know, to get a license, I got to give some kopi money.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Money.
Am I right? What do you call it here? In Malaysia, they call it kopi money.
Uang kopi.
Kopi, okay.
Uang rokok.
Okay.
So, if the pastor says you must not give any money, then then I will feel there are two reactions. One is, if I give money, I'm wrong. But if I don't give any money, I don't get my license. Then how am I feed my family? That's a tension, you know. So many churches don't help our members to think through this issue.
The practical issue.
They don't know practical issues. So what then happens is that they say you must not pay, and then the pastor doesn't leave the matter as it is. Then the poor taxi driver says, my pastor says I cannot pay. He's right because he's a religious leader. But for me to survive, I have to do something. Then I got to pay. But when you do that, the conclusion is this. The pastor is right, but he doesn't understand what's life.
Yes.
And the Bible is not relevant.
Yes.
You got me, no?
Yes. Yes.
And soon you live in two levels, you know.
Yes.
In church, you live in one way.
Yeah.
Every day, you live another way. I think what I say to people in my little book is this, I say, it's interesting. The Bible always condemns people when they demand a bribe. But it never condemns anybody who is a victim who is forced to pay a bribe. The Bible there's no condemnation in the Bible.
Yeah.
So there are times when we are in a victim situation. So the rules for the oppressor and the victim are different, you know. The Bible's teaching. We must understand that. The Bible says you don't oppress people by demanding bribes.
Yeah.
But if you are a taxi driver, you are a victim, you have to feed your family. In this situation, you may need to pay a bribe. Okay? But I'm not saying it's right, but you are saying that I have to feed my family. So this is a situation that the church as a whole must learn to talk through.
Yeah.
Because the taxi driver one is simpler case. But if you are getting business contract, it's a more complicated case.
Yeah.
You understand or not? So I think that business people, together with pastors, must sit down, work it through, and begin to frame some policies. That's the way I have it.
Wow. It's very mind-blowing. Because because we don't address the challenge appropriately from the spiritual and also in the real life. At the end, there's a joke in Indonesia, Mondays to Friday, you are a different person. Saturday and Sunday especially, you are a different person. Because there's two realm. There's two worlds, which is that we felt or we see that it cannot be seen as one, where we are living through the moral faith and the Christian faith. I think that is, thank you so much. Thank you so much. There's two books which is very I think very useful. One is Reverend Huayong write it. It's already translated Indonesia. It's a Suap and Korupsi. It's a copy money and also corruption. And then the other one, there's a purpose he came here is because Kebangunan Rohani di Bakelalan, that is in Sarawak. I personally listened to your sharing. I'm really blessed by that. Thank you so much, Reverend Huayong. Pastor Ronald, so what is your taking and then what is your closing statement on this? Yes.
In our daily life, we are facing that challenge, you know.
Ya,
Tantangan yang real, Pak, ya.
Real. Nah, mungkin sedikit pengalaman kecil saja. Ketika saya mau mengurus sesuatu, mereka meminta uang. Saya katakan begini, kamu bereskan pekerjaan itu, selesai, saya pasti memberikan ucapan terima kasih. Tapi kamu selesaikan dulu.
Jadi bukan bekerja karena saya jadi harus saya bayar uang.
Iya, karena saya mengerti di Indonesia, hampir semua mereka yang bekerja amat sangat miskin atau sangat limited. Jadi ada bentuk terima kasih dan saya katakan saya akan berikan sesuai dengan saya punya, bukan apa yang kamu minta. Kalau kamu minta saya tidak kasih. Mau nggak kita bekerja sama? Biasanya mereka orang Indonesia udah dulu untuk itu. Biasanya saya pendekatan karena it is real life. Ya, kita harus terima kasih dan bukan karena kalau saya kasih supaya dapat. Tapi saya bilang, tolong kerjakan sampai selesai.
Apalagi mengubah izin dan lain-lain, Pak.
Iya. Iya.
Ya, jadi ada rule regulation we have to comply. But on the other side, we have to, I think the word discern,
Iya.
The situation and the condition of the people that we are engaged with.
Iya.
Oke. Closing statement-nya apa, Pak?
Saya bilang begini, kita belajar menyampaikan apa adanya kepada mereka. Untuk kalau itu salah, mau nggak kita buat yang sama-sama terhormat untuk kita. Saya menghargai Anda menghargai saya.
Ya.
Itu yang saya coba melakukan dengan berbagai kalangan.
Makasih ya Pastor Ronald. Jadi ya, tidak. Tapi kita saling menghormati. Baik, Bapak Ibu, saya sangat bersyukur dengan pertemuan ini dengan Reverend Huayong, dengan Pastor Ronald. Mereka dua pemimpin dan pasti bersama-sama mereka menghadapi tantangan masing-masing. Dan kita juga menghadapi tantangan masing-masing di dalam kenyataan hidup. Tetapi sebagai pemimpin organisasi, pemimpin yayasan Kristen atau pemimpin sinode, kita akan menghadapi tantangan yang lebih besar. Dan dalam tantangan lebih besar itu kita sebagai pemimpin harus mengambil keputusan dari setiap hari di dalam kita punya. Jadi begitu banyak keputusan kita ambil, keputusan manajemen, keputusan operasional, keputusan di program dan lain-lain. Tetapi kembali bahwa tadi saya senang sekali Pastor Ronald bilang ya adalah ya, tidak dan adalah tidak. Tetapi bagaimana itu dimulai dengan sedini mungkin melalui diri kita, keluarga kita, generasi ke depan, sehingga mereka generasi ini benar-benar bukan hanya mengenali firman Tuhan untuk menjadi satu kontradiksi dalam hidup mereka yang dikatakan hidup dalam dua dunia, di rumah dan di luar rumah. Tetapi bagaimana benar-benar ada dua kata yang Isa selalu pakai. Satu adalah stewardship, penata layanan. Kedua adalah accountability atau akuntabilitas. Dan ini sebagai pemimpin kita harus invest di dalam hidup para pelayan-pelayan Tuhan yang bekerja kita bersama-sama, sehingga kita bisa accountable, bisa akuntabilitas bersama-sama dalam melayani Tuhan, sehingga ada satu yang kita sebut adalah satu berkesinambungan dan juga berdampak dalam apapun yang kita lakukan dan tetap memuliakan Tuhan untuk Indonesia yang kita cintai. Salam dari Iksa dan Tuhan Yesus memberkati kita semua.